Welcome to this video where we'll be going over a predicted paper for the Foundation Paper 2. These questions have been selected using the advanced information. So the advanced information for Paper 2 contains these topics. Go grab your notepads, your pens and whatever stationery that you need and make some good notes. Let's go. Question 1. Write these numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. You've been given some numbers which are negative and also positive. With the negative numbers, the bigger they are, then the smaller they are. And with the positive numbers, the larger they are, the larger that number is. So the largest number here is 9. The smallest number here is minus 6. So we have minus 6, we have minus 3 next, minus 2, 2 and 9. And they are the numbers in order from smallest to the largest. Question 2. Simplify. 7p minus 4p plus p. All of these are like terms, so you can just collect them. So 7 minus 4 plus 1p. 7 minus 4 is 3, plus the 1 is 4. So the total is 4p. Part B. Simplify. m cubed plus 2m cubed. Both of these are like terms, so you can collect them together. So you have 1m cubed plus 2m cubed, a total of 3m cubed. So 3m cubed is your final answer. Just in case you're wondering, how did that happen? Well, there is a 1 right there. We don't need to write that 1 in algebra. Just like there was a 1 right there, 1p. And we don't need to write the 1 there either. Just by the letter being there on its own means that there's only one of those. Part C. Now you have different terms. So you've got numbers here. So you can collect them with other numbers, although there isn't any other number there. You have letter C right there, so that's a term that you can collect with this one. You have the 6D, which you can collect with this one. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me get rid of all that. So 12, you don't have anything for that, so you can just write 12. The 2C, you can collect with this one, like I said before. So 2 minus 8, which is minus 6C. And the 6D plus the D is 7D, so plus 7D. You've got to be careful with what remains a positive and negative, so make sure you understand that. Moving on to question 3. Write 2.37 correct to 1 decimal place. So where do we have the 1 decimal place? The 1 decimal place is this value right there. We need to know whether to write 2.3 or to increase this. And this depends on the number next to that. And if this number here is 5 or larger than 5, then we increase it. So this 3 will become a 4 because the number next to it is a 7 and it's larger than 5 or 5 or more. So it's going to become 2.4 to 1 decimal place. Question 4. Write 68.19 correct to 1 significant figure. So once again, we are rounding, but this time to significant figures. Significant figures are different to decimal places, but they follow the same principle of the number next to it being 5 or more, then you increase it, and if it's less than 5, then you leave it. So a significant figure is the first non-zero number. So in this example, we have 68.19. All the numbers are non-zero, so the first significant figure is our 6. What do we do with that? Do we leave it as a 6 or do we increase it? Well, we look at the number next to it, which is an 8, which means it's going to be increased. So it's going to become a 7. But we can't leave our answer as just a 7 because the original number is 68.19, almost 70. So this will have a 0 giving it 70. And now we've got it rounded to 1 significant figure right there. Question 5. A teacher asked the students in year 6 how they travel to school. The dual bar chart shows some of the results. What is the most popular form of transport used by the boys? Now, with a bar chart, you're looking for the highest bars to indicate what is the most popular or the most. So you can see here a key right at the bottom, and we are looking for the boys. So the boys have been shaded in grey. So if you look at all the boys columns, which are those, what is the most popular? Well, you can see that the bus is on the highest one. So we will say it's a bus. So bus is the most popular form of transport used by the boys. Then it says 6 girls walk to school. Show this information on the dual bar chart. Now you can see that for the girls, there's nothing here. So we've got to fill this in. So it's told us that 6 girls walk to school. So for our bar chart for the girls, we'll go up to 6 and draw our bar. And that's for the girls. And we'll leave it in the same way as the other girls, which is unshaded. Part C, how many more of the students get to school by bus than by car? Now here it's talking about students, which includes both boys and girls. So we want to find a total of the students that go by bus, including boys and girls, and by car. So let's go ahead and do that. Now for the bus, you have 7 boys, as you can see right there, and 5 girls, which is a total of 12. So 12 boys and girls go to school by bus. For the car, we have 4 boys and 6 girls, a total of 10. So what's the difference between 10 and 12? It is 2. So 2 more students get to school by bus than by car. So 2 can go right there. Part D, what is the total number of students in year 6? So the whole bar chart is representing year 6 students, as it told us right there. So we want to know the total of everything now. So let's go ahead and find the total of the rest of them. So walk, we have 2 boys and 6 girls, which is a total of 8. For cycle, we have 5 boys and 4 girls, which is a total of 9. And for the other, which is any other mode of transport, we have 6 boys and 7 girls, which is a total of 13. So now all we have to do is add up all of those. So 10 plus 12 plus 8 plus 9 plus 13, and that gives us a total of 52, which we can use our calculator to get the answer for. Question 6. Find the value of 8 to the power of 5. Now, it is a calculator paper, but I'll quickly go through the mechanism of that. This is simply saying 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. So 8 multiplied by itself 5 times. Now you've got a calculator and you've got the special power button that you can use. So you can press 8 and the power button, which should look something like that on your calculator. And that gives you an answer of 8 to the power of 5, 32768. But this is useful to know because if you do forget your scientific calculator, which you shouldn't, I hope you don't, then you could use a basic calculator to work out 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. But don't forget your calculator, guys. Make sure you're well prepared for your exams. Question 7. Mandy buys 36 pens, 36 pencils, 36 rulers and 36 pencil cases. What is the total amount of money spent by Mandy? Now, we've got some offers here. We've got 4 pens for 75p, we've got 12 pencils for 42p, we've got 6 rulers for £1.10, and no offers for the pencil cases because they're just 54p each. So let's go ahead and work those out. Let's start with the pens first. So we have 4 pens for 75p. What I want to work out first of all is how many 4s go into 36. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 36 divided by 4 and I get 9. So I'm going to buy 9 lots of the pens. So it's going to be 9 times 75p because I get 4 pens in each lot. So 9 times 75 gives me 675p. I want to convert that into pounds by dividing by 100. So that's going to be £6 and 75p. So that's the amount for the pens. For the pencils, once again, I want to know how many lots to buy. In each lot, I have 12 pencils. So I'm going to do 36 divided by 12 first. And that gives me 3. So I need to buy 3 lots of this. So it's going to be 3 times 42p. And that gives me 126p. Once again, I can convert that into pounds and pennies by dividing by 100. So it's going to be £1.26p. Now I'll move on to the rulers. So rulers, I have once again to do 36 divided by 6 because I get 6 for £1.10 and that gives me 6 lots that I need to buy. So it's going to be 6 times £1.10p. This time I'm in pounds already, so I can just work this out on my calculator or do it in my head, and that gives me £6.60. Finally, I move on to the pencil cases. So pencil cases, now there's no discount on the pencil cases, as I mentioned earlier. It's just going to be 36 times by 54p, and I work that out on my calculator. That gives me 1944p, which is divided by 100 and into pounds and pennies, £19.44. So the question says, work out the total amount spent by Mandy. I need to add up all of these amounts right there. So I can just do the total up here. So total amount is going to be £6.75 plus £1.26 plus £6.60 plus £19.44, and that gives me a grand total of £34.05. So this here is my final answer. Moving on to question 7. Write down all the prime numbers between 20 and 40. Quick reminder, what is a prime number? A prime number is a number that only has two factors, 1 and itself. So the first prime number is 2, not 1. A lot of people think that 1 is the first prime number. 1 is not a prime number. I'm just teaching you the prime numbers because I just want you to know what the prime numbers are. Obviously, you're probably wondering, hold on, it's between 20 and 40 anyway, so 1 doesn't, or 2 don't even come into it. But I just want to explain to you what the prime numbers are, or remind you. Okay, so 2 is the first prime number because 2 goes into 2 and 1 goes into 2, therefore only 2 factors. The next prime number is 3, then you have 5, then you have 7, so on and so forth. But we want the numbers between 20 and 40. So what we can do is either continue this list or just start from the prime numbers after 20. Okay, but I think it's more educational to continue this list. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, what's the next one after this? 11, then 13, then 17, then 19. Now we start to hit our 20 to 40 range. Okay, so what do we have? Is 20? Nope. Not 20. 21? Nope. The next one after that is 23. Then we have 29. Then we have 31. Then we have 37. Now we can stop because these are the numbers that we need. So 23, 29, 31 and 37 are our prime numbers between 20 and 40. Question number 9. Here is the list of numbers 9, 7, 5, 10, 5 and 3. Work out the median. What does median mean? Median means the number in the middle after you have arranged the numbers in order. So currently this group of numbers or this list of numbers is not in order. So let's go ahead and put this into order first. So the first number that will go into our list is 3. Then 5, we've got 5 twice, so once there, once there. Let's just cross them off as well. So 5 there. Then we have 7, then we have 9, and finally we have 10. So now I've got the numbers in order right there, which is the number in the middle. You could either count in or you can cross in. What I mean by crossing in is you cross from the ends. So the 3 and the 10, then the 5 and the 9, and now we are left with 2 numbers in the middle. What do we do when we have 2 numbers in the middle and not just the 1? If there was 1 number in the middle, that would be our median. But if there's 2 numbers in the middle, all we need to do is add them together and then divide by 2. So 5 plus 7 is 12, and then divided by 2 gives us 6. And we knew that anyway because the number in between 5 and 7 is 6. But it's good to do this because the numbers might be wider apart in a question, and you need to know how to do the method. So 6 is our median number. Moving on, Josh picks at random one of the numbers. What is the probability that he picks an even number? How many numbers in our list are even? Well, we know that 10 is even. So it's going to be 1 out of the total amount of the numbers. Now the total amount of numbers is 6. So it's going to be 1 out of 6, which is the probability of an even number. Part C. Basil has 5 numbered cards. 2 of the numbers are hidden. The mode of the 5 numbers is 8 and the mean of the 5 numbers is 6. Work out the 2 hidden numbers. Right, where do we begin with this question? Let's start with the mode. It says that the mode, what does the mode mean? It means the most common is 8. So there must be another 8 here at least. All right, because currently we've got 1 8. So we know that there must be another 8 in that list. So one of these numbers has got to be 8, because that way 8 will come up more than the others, giving us a mode. So we know that one of these numbers at least is an 8. Let's continue. It says the mean of the 5 numbers is 6. That means if you were to add all these numbers up like this, plus this question mark card, and then divide it by the total amount of numbers there are, which is 5, that should give you an answer of a mean, which is 6. So let's add up the top, the numerator. So 4 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 on our calculators. So 4 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8. And that gives us 29 plus our missing number divided by 5 is equal to 6. So how do I work out what our missing number here is? Well, what we can do is just solve this as we would with an algebraic fraction, which is to get rid of the 5 right here by multiplying over here. So we're going to have 6 times 5 on the other side, which is like that. And we have 29 plus our missing number is equal to the total of 6 times 5, which is 30. Then our missing number is going to be found by taking this 29 onto the other side, by taking away. So we're going to do 30 minus 29. And 30 minus 29 is clearly 1. So our missing number, our mystery number, is 1. Let's go ahead and write that in right there. And now we have completed all the cards. So 8 and 1 are our missing numbers. Question 10. Here is a number machine. You have an input, something going into your number machine, it gets multiplied by 5, and then you take away 3. And then you have the number that comes out, which is your output. Work out the output when the input is 8. So what happens when you put an 8 in here? You're going to have 8 times by 5 and then take away 3. So 8 times by 5 is 40, minus 3 gives us 37. So the output would be 37. Part B, work out the input when the output is 42. So if the output now is 42, we can just go backwards and find out what the input is. So the backward operation, instead of minusing by 3, we'll add 3. Instead of timesing by 5, we'll divide by 5. So it's going to be 42, add 3, which is 45, and then 45 divided by 5, which is 9. So the input would be 9 when the output is 42. Question 11. Here are 3 symbols. Write one of these symbols in each box to make 4 true statements. Let's go ahead and remind ourselves what they mean. So what does that mean? That means less than. So this is less than. This one here means greater than. And this one here means equal to. So I'm just going to explain what the less than means. If you have a less than, then you put the smaller number on this side and the larger number on this side. And the other way around when you have the greater than. So in here, right there, you have the smaller number 15 and the larger number 23. So you can use your less than sign right there. So this one would mean that 15 is less than 23. 23 being on the bigger side. So it's opening up here, meaning bigger. And this part here is smaller. That's how you can remember this. I know that there's various ways that your teachers may have taught you this, and they're all perfectly fine. Just make sure you know how to use those signs. On the next one, it says 4 plus 9, and then you've got 102 minus 89. Obviously, we've got to work out what 4 plus 9 and 102 minus 89 gives us. So 4 plus 9 gives us 13, and 102 minus 89 gives us 13 too. That means we're going to use this symbol right there because we've got both same numbers on each side. So 13 is equal to 13. In fact, I should write it on the top. So right there. 4 plus 9 is equal to 102 minus 89. The next one, 3 squared, we know gives us 9. And 3 times 3 is also 9. Once again, we are going to use the equal sign. Lastly, we have minus 4 and minus 6. Which number is bigger? Once again, As I said earlier, when you have negative numbers, then the larger the number is, the smaller the number actually is. So here, the minus 6 would be smaller than minus 4. This time, it means that minus 4 is greater than minus 6. So we're going to be using the greater than sign right there. So we are going to say that minus 4 is greater than minus 6. It's a little bit messy. I'm just going to box all of these up so you can distinguish which one's which. I probably made it even more messier now, but hopefully you understand that. Let's move on. Question 12. You can use the graph on the left to change between inches and centimeters. Change 84 centimeters to inches. So what we're going to do here is find where 84 centimeters is. Let's zoom into this graph like that. Now, before we start these questions, we need to work out what each of these small squares are. Now, you can see that you've got 100 here and 80 here. And then you've got this in the middle, which would indicate that this is 90. So this here would be 90, which means, let's zoom in even more. It means that each of these small squares has to be 2, because 80 to 82, 84, 86, 88, 90. And likewise 92, 94, 96, 98 and 100. So we are looking for 84 centimeters. So 84 centimeters will be the second small square. So let's move that across right there where it hits our line, and then we will just go down right there. Now, same way, we have to figure out what those means. Now this time we're going from 30 to 40 and we are using 2 big boxes to go across. And that means that each of these smaller squares means 1. All right, so that would be 35 right there. So our line here would be 31, 32, 33. So 33. Let's get rid of the 35 because it's in the way. Oops, it's got rid of everything. So our answer is 33 inches. So 33 inches is 84 centimeters. The examiner may allow you some discretion with your numbers as long as it's close to 33. So it could be 34, it could even be 32. It's not a problem. It depends on where you hit your line. And as long as you show this working out, then that's good for the examiner to award you all the marks. Part B. Sarah's height is 5 foot 4 inches or 5 feet 4 inches. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. How many inches is 5 foot 4 inches? So what we're going to do here is work out our 5 feet first and convert that into inches. So we're going to do 5 times 12, which is 60. And then we're going to add the 4 inches which are left. So it's going to be 60 plus the 4, which is 64. So 64 inches in total. Part C. What is Sarah's height in centimeters? Now, just like before, we could be using the graph, but we can't. Why? Because 64 isn't on the scale. You see, it should be here, right? But the graph doesn't have that. So we can't find where 64 is, go up to the graph and read off and find our answer. So what we have to do is use our conversion of centimeters and inches. Now, in case you don't know, 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So we are going to do 64 times by 2.54. So let's go ahead and do that on our calculator. So 64 times by 2.54 and we get 162.56 centimeters. Another way you could have done this is read out the maximum inches that we can work out, which is right there. Okay, and that gives us, what's that give us? That gives us approximately, there's just an approximation, it's somewhere in the middle, but we could do 122, 24, 26. Let's go with 126 and then worked out the remaining amount. So the remaining amount from 64, so let's take away the 50 because we've done that, is going to be 14. And then worked out the remaining amount of 14 by going and finding 14 inches right here. So there's 14 inches, see where it hits right there, and that is 30 right there. So it's going to be 32, 34, 36. So 36. So, and then we could just add 126 and 36 together and get an answer from there. So 126 plus 36, and that also gives us 162 centimeters. Moving on to question 13. The diagram shows 9 identical squares inside a rectangle. The length of the rectangle is 18 centimeters. Work out the width of the rectangle. And there's some advice here that says your final line must say width equal to, okay, which is something that identifies to the examiner what exactly your width is. So you should get used to writing like that. So to work out the width, what we can do is we can break up this area like that. So we know that there are 3 more of these squares here. And using the length, which goes across this way, we know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a total of 6 squares going across. So 18 divided by 6, because remember, a square means that all the lengths, the sides of the square are the same. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, which means that this here is 3 centimeters and this here is 3 centimeters. So if you have 3 here, 3 here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares going down, so 5 lots of 3's, which is 15 centimeter. And 15 centimeter is the width. So the width is equal to 15 centimeter. Question 14. Rotate the shape A 90 degrees clockwise about the center O. It's going to be tricky showing you this without having tracing paper that you can actually see me doing the action. So I will try my best to do this. Now, the center is right here. We want to rotate this shape clockwise. So clockwise is this way. And we want to do it by 90 degrees from this point right there. Okay. Now I will do this separately, and then I will show you where it goes on the diagram. And then at home, you could copy down this diagram and do the rotation using tracing paper, and then see where your shape is, and then compare it to mine. So when I do this rotation, I have my points right there, like that. So there to there, and that's how your shape should look. Part B, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle B onto triangle C. And you can clearly see that triangle B has been reflected. Where? In the mirror line right there. So for 2 marks, you could say reflection in the line. And in this case, the line is our x-axis. So we could say in the x-axis. You could also say in the line y is equal to 0, because y is equal to 0 is the same thing as saying the x-axis. So either of those is fine. Question 15. On the grid, complete the enlargement of the shaded shape with a scale factor of 3. So we've got this shape here and we want to enlarge this, and we want to enlarge it from here, which is what the question has given us. So a scale factor of 3, which means all the lengths have to be multiplied by 3. So right here, we've got 3 squares across. So 3 squares times by 3, which is 9. And that's going to be 9 squares across for that then. So 2 already we've been given. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 all the way. And next we'll look at this side here. So we've got 1, 2, 3 squares, and therefore we'll have also 9 going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right there. Now for these lengths here, what I recommend you do is don't try to work this out, and same as this, don't try to work them out diagonally like that. Instead, what you do is work out this point right here. This is the significant point right there. Okay, so we know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and 1 across there. Okay, so what we are going to do is do this 1 across this way from here. Okay, so 1 times by 3, which is right there, and then it will go down. So it goes down by 4, so 4 times by 3, which is 12. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to the bottom right there. And then what you're going to do is just join this up like that. There you go. And you could get rid of the line that you've drawn there by rubbing it out. And there you have your enlargement. Question 16. A shop sells flour fertilizer in 25 kilo bags and in 50 kilo bags. One week, the shop has 2 special offers for the fertilizer. Offer A is 2 bags for £35, where 1 bag is 25 kilos each. Offer B 3 bags for £92.50 and each bag is 50 kilos each. Which offer A or B is the best value for money? And you must show how you get your answer. Now, there is more than one way of doing this, so you can use a variety of methods, but I'll show you one method. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to calculate the two offers separately. I'm going to break it down. So offer A here and offer B on the other side. So offer A, you get 50 kilos because you're getting 2 bags for £35. So that means 50 kilos costs you £35. Whereas offer B, you get 3 bags, so 3 lots of 50, so 150 kilos, and you're paying for that £92.50. Now, if you look at 50 kilos and 150 kilos, the link between the two is 25 kilos because 25 is a factor of both of them. So what we can do is go down to 25 kilos by dividing by 2 on offer A. So we also divide by 2 on the 35. So 35 divided by 2 gives us £17.50. So for each 25 kilos, you're paying £17.50. On this one, when we want to go down to 25 kilos, we have to divide by 6. So we will divide the other side, the £92.50 by 6. So £92.50 divided by 6 gives us £15.42. So you're paying £15.42 for 25 kilos. So which one is cheaper, better value for money? Well, clearly this one here because you're paying less. So offer B is the better value. Question 17. Here is a list of ingredients to make biscuits. Andrew only has 300 grams of plain flour. How much of the other ingredients should he use? So this is a question on proportion. So what we can do is firstly explore. We know that this list makes biscuits. We don't know how many biscuits it makes. Let's say, I don't know, 20 biscuits or something, for example. So we know that we can't make 20 biscuits because we only have 300 grams of plain flour. So we can make some of that 20. Exactly how much we can work out as a proportion. So what we can do is do 300 because that's how much gram of flour that we have out of the 400 that we need to make biscuits, and that gives us 3/4 in a simplified form. So we can only make 3/4 of the amount of biscuits that this list of ingredients can usually make. So everything else will also need to be in 3/4. So for the butter, we're going to do 200 and divide it by 4 and then times it by 3. So 200 divided by 4 times by 3 gives us 150 grams. So we are going to use 150 grams of butter. For the sugar, we're going to do 180 divided by 4 times by 3, which is 135 grams. So we need 135 grams of sugar. And finally, for the chocolate chips, we are going to do 20 divided by 4 times by 3. So that gives us 15 grams. So 15 grams of chocolate chips. Question 18. There are 86 calories in 100 grams of banana. There are 89 calories in 100 grams of yogurt. Amanda has 70 grams of banana and 140 grams of yogurt for breakfast. Work out the total number of calories in this breakfast. So let's start with the banana. We have 86 calories per 100 grams. She only has 70 grams of banana. So we can do 86 over 100 times by 70. And that gives us 60.2 calories in our banana. As for the yogurt, we are going to do 89 divided by 100 and times that by the amount of yogurt that she has, which is 140. So 140. And that gives us 124.6 calories. So the total amount of calories is going to be those two values added up. So 60.2 plus 124.6, and that gives us 184.8 calories in total. Question 19. Factorize 7 minus 14n. Right, so the common factor between the two numbers is 7. So we take 7 outside and open up our bracket because there's nothing in the letters that are common. So what do we have in here? So we need to multiply to give us 7. So we need to have a 1 there. And then we need to make 14n. So we need to have a 2 and an n there, because when those two multiply, they will give us our minus 14n. So 7, bracket open, 1 minus 2n is our final answer. Part B, factorize fully. So here we have 2 common. We have an a here and 2 a's there, or a squared. So we can take out one of those. We have b squared and 1b there, so we can take out at least 1b. And now we can open up our bracket. So what will go here and what will go there? That's what we need to work out now. So we need to make 2ab squared. We have the 2, we have 1a, which is good, but we need that b squared. So we're going to put 1b in there. So when these two multiply together, they will give 2ab squared, because when they multiply, the b and the b will only give us something extra. So b squared is what we want. Then we'll have the positive, and now we need to make 8. So what value would we have for the number? We'll have to have a 4 here. So 2 times 4 is 8. Then we need a squared. We've only got one a outside, so we need another a inside. And b, we have one outside, so we don't need a b. So our final answer is 2ab on the outside. Inside our bracket is b plus 4a. Question 20. An estimate of the height h meters of a tall building can be found using the formula h is equal to 3f plus 15, where the building is f floors high. A building is 85 floors high and the real height of the building is 260 meters. Work out the percentage error when estimating the height of this building using the formula given. First of all, we need to know what the percentage error formula is. And the percentage error formula is approximate amount, which is what we're going to work out using our formula. Take away the exact amount, divided by the exact amount, times by 100%, which is the same thing as the difference divided by the original amount, the exact amount, times by 100, which you may have also come across when dealing in percentages. So we will work out the approximate amount using our formula right here. So h is going to be equal to 3 times by 85, because it's 85 floors high, and then we will add our 15, and that gives us 270 meters. So 270 meters is an approximate amount. So we're going to do 270 minus the exact amount, which is 260, divided by the exact amount and times that by 100%. And that gives us 3.8% to 1 decimal place. So 3.8% is our percentage error. Question 21. On the grid, draw the graph of y is equal to 2x minus 3 for the values of x from minus 2 to 4. So let's draw our table of values. So we have x here and y here. So we have minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now a tip here, you don't actually have to fill in all of these y values, because we are just asked here to draw our graph and we are using this to help us. A question, if it says fill in a table of values and it's given that to you, then you have to do that. But here it's our choice. So what I usually do here is I just pick 3 of these. Okay, one at the beginning, something in the middle, it could be any of those, and one at the end. All right, and you could choose any that you want. So I will now plug in minus 2, 0, and 4 into my equation right there. Okay, so let's plug it in for minus 2. So it's going to be 2 times minus 2 minus 3. So 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, minus the 3 is minus 7. So I have minus 7 in here. So that coordinate here is going to be minus 2, minus 7. Now I'm going to plug in the 0. So 2 times by 0 minus 3. And that gives me minus 3. So minus 3 is right there. So that's going to be 0 minus 3. Finally, I'm going to plug in 4. So it's going to be 2 times by 4 minus 3. 2 times by 4 is 8. Minus the 3 is 5. So that's going to be 5. And that's going to be 4, 5 as my coordinate. Now I will just plot those coordinates on my graph. So minus 2, minus 7 right there. 0, minus 3 right there, and 4 and 5 right there. Next, I will just get a ruler and draw a line straight through those points. And there you have your line. Question 22. BEG is a triangle, ABC and DEF are parallel lines. So you have parallel lines right there, as indicated by these arrows. Work out the size of angle X. So we're going to work this out right there. Let's zoom into this. Right, so some things that you need to know. First of all, if you have two lines which are parallel, like that, and then you have a line going through, as we do right there, then there are certain rules that you need to know. And I need to remind you. The first one is our corresponding angles. These two angles are the same. And also, these two angles are the same. And also, these two here are the same, giving you the F shape. And also, those two are the same. So that's all the corresponding angles. Next, you have the alternate angles. So this here and this here are the same, giving you that Z shape right there. And also, this here and this here are the same, giving you the Z shape right there. And finally, you have the interior angles, which are those two, but they're not the same. They add up to 180 degrees. So, with that in mind, let's go and look at our diagram. So, what do we have here? We want to work out this angle X right there. Now, we know that this is a triangle. So, all of these angles here are going to add up to 180. So, at some point, we need to find this angle and we need to find that angle right there. We can start off by finding this angle right there straight away because this is a straight line. And what do those add up to? They add up to 180 degrees. So this one here is going to be 180 degrees, take away the 110, take away the 25.6. So let's go ahead and work that out first. So 180 minus 110.2 minus 25.6. And that is 44.2 degrees. So this here is 44.2 degrees. Next, let's work on this one right there. Now you'll notice the two parallel lines here and this line that goes through. So these two angles right here will be 180 degrees in total. So to find what this angle here is, that's going to be 180 minus 110.2 degrees. And that is 69.8 degrees. So this here is 69.8 degrees. Once again, we have a straight line here and all of these add up to 180. So this plus that plus this, the angle that we want, is 180 degrees. So to find what this angle here is, it's going to be 180 minus 34.8 minus 69.8. And that gives us 75.4 degrees. So this here is 75.4 degrees. So to work out angle X, we're going to do 180 minus 75.4 degrees minus the 44.2 degrees. And that gives us 60.4 degrees. So X here is 60.4 degrees. Now, the question in an exam may say give reasons. So I've mentioned the reasons already. So this here is a straight line. This here is also a straight line. And this one is angles in a triangle add up to 180. And they are your reasons for 4 marks. Question 23. Emma buys a camping van for $23,500 plus VAT at 20%. She pays a deposit for the camping van and then she pays the rest of the cost in 18 equal payments of £940 each month. Find the ratio of the deposit Emma pays to the total of the 18 equal payments. Give your answer in its simplest form. Now, this is a very worded question and initially you may not know where to begin. So let's begin by finding the cost of our camping van, which we know is $23,500 plus VAT at 20%. So the cost of van is going to be original amount times by the multiplier. We can use the multiplier method. If you don't know that method, you can go onto my channel and see a video for percentage increase and decrease where I discuss the multiplier. There are other methods that you can use as long as you can find a way to get you 20% and then add that to the 23,500. All right, but I'm going to be using the multiplier here. So the multiplier method is as follows. Original amount, which is our 23,500, times by the multiplier equals new amount. And that will give us the cost of the van. So the original amount is 23,500. And the multiplier, we add in 20%. So that's going to be 100% plus 20%, which is 120%. Now to make this into a multiplier, we just divide it by 100. So it's going to be 1.20. So 1.20, because we are increasing the cost, because VAT is something that you add on, you don't take away. So it's going to be 1.20. If you were to take something away of 20%, then it's going to be a multiplier of 80%. Well, not the multiplier, the percentage is going to be 80%, because you're going to do 100, take away 20, and that's 80%. And then to make 80% into a multiplier, you do 0.8, okay, which is divided by 100. But here, the multiplier is 1.20. Now we're going to put this straight into our calculator, to 23,500 times by 1.2, and that gives us a grand total of 28,200. So this is how much the van costs. Now, next part of this question, she pays a deposit. We don't know how much she pays the deposit, okay? So, but we do know that she pays the rest of the costs in 18 equal payments, which are £940 each month. So 18, so cost of payments, so let's do costs of payments, okay? The total of that is 18 times by 940. So put that into your calculator, 18 times 940, and that gives us £16,920. So now we can work out the deposit, because the deposit is going to be the difference between those two. So what is the difference between those two? So that could be our deposit working out. So it's going to be 28,200 minus 16,920. Let's put our pound signs in. So let's work that out. So that is an amount of 11,280. So that's your deposit amount. So let's zoom out a little bit. So we are paying a deposit of 11,280, and the remaining amount, which is 16,920, is going to be paid over 18 equal monthly payments. Now for the ratio, I can write this as deposit to equal payments, so payments, and the payment amount is 16,920 and the deposit is 11,280. So I want to reduce this to its simplest form. Now I can, divide and divide and divide until I come down to its lowest form, but the quickest way to do this is just to do 16,920, which is a larger number, and divide it by 11,280. And that gives me 3/2. Okay, on your calculator you can work this out. That means that this amount is 3 and this amount here is 2. And there you have your ratio in its simplest form. Question 24. A number n is rounded to 2 decimal places. The result is 3.87. Using inequalities, write down the error interval. Now, I do have a video for this on the channel. You can go check it out if you want a bit more practice on this. But what we normally do here is 3.87. We write it down here, and then we draw a scale, a numbered line. Now, it's been rounded to 2 decimal places. So what we do is we go to the next number across on 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 3.88. And on the other side, it's going to be 3.86. Next, we just find the numbers in the middle here. So this one is going to be 3.865. And this one is going to be 3.875. So these are the 2 values for our error interval. So we are going to write n less than, this side is always less than, and this side can be greater than or equal to, and we write 3.865 on this side and 3.875 on the other side. And there we have our error interval. On to the last question, expand and simplify the 2 brackets. So you're multiplying the 4x with a 2x, and then you're multiplying the 4x with a -5. And then you do 3 times by the 2x, and then 3 times by the -5. So let's go ahead and do the first one. So 4x times by 2x, that gives us 8x squared. Next, 4x times by minus 5, which is minus 20x. Then we do 3 times by the 2x, which is plus 6x. And then 3 times by the minus 5, which is minus 15. Now we just need to collect our like terms. So the two like terms are the minus 20x and the plus 6x. So we're going to do 8x squared because there's nothing alike with that. And then we're going to do minus 20x plus a 6x. So very important here, when you're dealing with negative numbers, you've got to be very careful which way you go. So you do minus 20 and you're adding 6. So you're going towards the positive side of the number scale or the number line. So minus 20 plus 6 gives us minus 14x. And then minus 15 doesn't have anything alike, so we can just write minus 15. So our answer is 8x squared minus 14x minus 15. Part B, factorize x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now I do have a video on my channel. It's called the cheat method for factorizing, a really good technique. Go and check it out if you don't know this one. But I do have other videos on factorizing as well, which shows this in using different methods. All right, so I'm going to be using the cheat method here. All right, so what is the cheat method? Well, I look at the numbers in front of the x squared and the last number here. Okay, so in front of the x squared, you got 1. So it's going to be 1 times by this last number here, which is 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. So it's a plus 6. All right. Then what I do is I write down the factors of 6. So 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So when they multiply, they give me 6. Now I want something that adds to give 5, because 5 here is in the middle, 5x, and multiplies to give 6, which is any of these. All right. Which one adds to give 5? Well, both of them add to give 5, but to decide which one I need, I've got to also look at the sign here. So when I multiply these two numbers, any of these two numbers, they've got to multiply to give me a positive value. Now, to get a positive value, I can only have both of them being the same, either a negative or a positive. So if you look at this one, it can't be this, because to make plus 5, I've got to have a plus 6 and a minus number here. And if I have a minus 1 times by 6, I won't get a positive 6, I'll get a minus 6. So it won't be these two here. The answer that I'm looking for is for those. So it's going to be a positive on both sides. So 2 and 3 are our values, and both of them are positive. They could also be negative as well, but there's no point in them being negative because I don't want a minus 5, I want a positive 5. So what I do next now is I write down the x squared, but without the square. Okay, so I do x over plus 2 and x over plus 3. I get these values from here. Okay, I'll get those values. And then all I do is put these into a bracket. So the first bracket here will be x plus 2 and the next one will be x plus 3. And there I have factorized. And now we have reached the end of this paper. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's something that you didn't understand, then you can just go back and look over it. I have several lessons on my channel. Just go on to the Maths Coach channel, go into the search facility, and you can only do this using a computer. I don't think you can do this on a mobile phone. And then just search for any topic that you want to go over and get more practice on. I hope you enjoyed this, and please give the video a thumbs up, and all the best with your exams, guys.